I, 28F, rejected my husband, 33M, for the first time and his reaction grossed me out. My husband and I are trying to spice up our sex life. I am the one actively trying too, he's just along for the ride. We were watching a racy movie and I asked him if we can choose 2 toys out of our collection tonight. He gave a "do we have 2?" kind of reaction and made a vibrator joke. We went to the bedroom, I pulled out the box of toys and he chose the wand, and I asked him if he can choose another, and he said no. Because it feels like pulling teeth to try to get him to be proactive in our sex life, it upset me enough that I told him I don't want to have sex anymore. It's the first time I've ever rejected him, whereas he probably rejects me at least several times a month. He demanded I come back to bed or he was going to get really pissed. I think that reaction is insane. Tried to communicate how I feel, like how we go about our sex life makes me feel unsexy and undesired. He refused to communicate with me and now I'm sleeping on the couch. We're already going to couples counseling, what the hell am I supposed to do? Edit, there was no point where I was forcing him to do something he didn't want to do. We got the toys as part of a compromise for the lack of effort he puts into our sex life. For example, I have asked him to blindfold me for 5 years. He doesn't say no, he says, "Do I have to?" I have had conversations with him about how remarks like that kill the mood. And then he tells me he wants to try more kinky stuff, but when it's actually in the moment he'll sigh and act like it's a chore. I feel like I make such a big effort and this man has not once given me a massage without me asking. And of like the 7 massages I've ever asked him for, not once has he been able to respond with anything but "do I have to?" Edit 2, feels crazy to have this blow up. I cried earlier today because I heard a couple friend of ours did a pottery class together. I literally haven't asked him to do anything like that in years because the first handful of times I asked him to do an activity like that he also said things ranging from "do I have to?" to "I will never do these things with you." I know living like this is restricting my happiness. Guess it's time to take some steps to move on. Edit 3, he went out with a friend of his and we talked when he came home. So my husband is a struggling artist and works part-time at a regular job. His friend is also an artist and told him that his wife pays a larger portion of their life/bills/etc. But she doesn't mind it because she wants the father of their children to have integrity and be the guy that does the thing he sought out to do, regardless of whether or not he makes a lot of money. My husband insinuated that she's a supportive wife and I am not. I'm so exhausted. I am also an artist, with a corporate day job and an evening corporate job, and I am a freelance artist on the side. I make about $15,000 a year on my art. My husband loses anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 on his art. We have a 2-bedroom and 1 room is his dedicated studio. I do not have a home studio, I make do with our living space. I have put thousands of dollars, not to mention mental and emotional energy, into helping his art career. He has left me to go to social events/trips/family gatherings alone because he needs the time to do his art. And I have deluded myself into being proud of being such a chill wife, giving him the freedom to do whatever he wants. Everyone we know gives me props for being such a supportive wife. I can't believe he's comparing me to someone else's wife and saying I'm not supportive. Truly, what the fuck? Hoping for an amicable divorce, but my gut tells me it's going to be nasty. I just wanted a nice simple life with someone I love. What a bummer. You said in a comment you're thinking of kids. I would not advise having children until you've sorted this out and have a healthy sex life you're both happy with. Kids will make a problem like this 100 times worse. Why do you have to be with him? We got the toys as part of a compromise for the lack of effort he puts into our sex life. Oof. Girl, you are 28. That is plenty of time to separate, divorce, and find a partner that actually likes you to start a family with. Sometimes people are just incompatible and no amount of couples therapy is going to fix it. His response though is very frightening and not okay though. You are way too young to be stuck in this situation, and adding some kink is not going to fix this problem. He doesn't care about your pleasure and isn't doing any work to fix your marriage. I'd recommend getting your own individual therapist, a good lawyer, and preparing yourself for divorce. He doesn't like you, sis. Is it not obvious? Not you're making me feel like you don't care about me, just. He doesn't care about you. Plain and simple. He'll sigh and act like it's a chore. At some point you're going to have to stop being in denial. He isn't acting like it's a chore. To him it is a chore. That's how he sees it. You're doing way too many mental gymnastics here when the answer is obvious. The man doesn't like having sex with you, doesn't want you in the romantic or sexual sense, and it seems based on his attitude, doesn't like you in general. You're too young to be worried about this. Move on. I think sexual incompatibility is a serious issue for relationships. If sex is like pulling teeth, then why do it? Sex should be a fun, happy, healthy release, and he's just not into it. You're unhappy, and unhappiness breeds resentment, especially when he reacts like you're some sort of issue for checks, notes, seeking pleasure. You are sexually incompatible, and the relationship won't work, period. I'd if my husband kept saying, "Do I/we have to?" Like a child whining about doing chores or homework. I don't know that I would ever be wet again. Add to that, come back or I'll be pissed? I don't think so. I'm going to have the ick for a good while just reading this. That's me, though. If you want to continue being treated like a chore he has to do. We're getting divorced. Do I have to? You call his ass out in couples counseling. Let the therapist deal with him. If it happens again, you fucking leave. Why would you stay with someone who tries to intimidate you like this? Why are you trying to spice up your sex life? How did you come to the conclusion that your other marital problems could be solved with more/kinkier sex? I ask these questions because your husband either doesn't want this, or doesn't think this is the solution, yet you clearly do. So if you elaborate a little more on the deeper problems you are actually experiencing, and maybe we can help. Jesus, it's this bad at 28? It sounds like he doesn't even like you at this point. Do I have to means, I just want to get mine and I'd golf about your needs. If you're already in therapy and it's still a mess, sometimes two people aren't supposed to be together. Marriage can be hard sometimes, but not this hard. Both wrong. The "do you have to" meant it wouldn't be an enthusiastic yes. So it's a no. And his reaction was obviously red flag. So, your man is controlling and is turned off when you initiate sex. Do with that information what you will. So, thinking about this, it really just sounds like he makes no effort with our sex life / doesn't care about it. Is SFW code for "I want to use toys because otherwise I won't orgasm," because he makes no effort to get me there. If that is the case, his refusal followed by the whole "come back or else" shtick is just disgusting. If this is a kinks and vanilla mixed marriage, I don't see how you aren't doomed. It's just not compatible. Can you give more details about the sex toys y'all were picking from? Because I have some fairly extreme kinks and I don't want 4 different toys in a 2-person encounter. And if your husband has been disinterested in giving you a massage or blindfolding you, what made you think you should include 4 different toys? It sounds like you are trying things that you want, but have you asked what he is turned on by? What are his fantasies? It's common for couples to be into different types of sexual activities, unfortunately, because it's not something people are necessarily comfortable discussing. Maybe consider that it's going to be hot to make his fantasy come true? I have been in a relationship like this. Unfortunately, you probably can't change this about him. You have to decide if you can tolerate this. If he's saying "do I have to" or he's acting like things are a chore, then you kind of are making him do something he doesn't want to do. If the toys were a compromise for his lack of ability in the bedroom, he probably takes the toys as a shot to his manhood. Some men are all for it, some men feel like they should be enough. If the sexual needs and desires are not compatible, unfortunately it's just not going to be a great time. Why are you married? Serious question. If this has been a problem from the start, what made you decide to get married in the first place? He's nice really doesn't sound like he has many redeeming qualities. For the love of God, don't bring kids into this toxic disaster. No kid deserves to be in a home where their dad punches a wall next to their mom when he's unhappy. You don't want to model that kind of relationship to your kids. Oh wonderful, coercion. Nothing sexier than a man having a big baby tantrum because he has to compromise and respect his wife's intimacy boundaries. Going to couples counseling is a very good idea for handling this one. The fact that you would rather be with someone who clearly doesn't want you over just being single is very telling. In the nicest way, you should find a therapist to figure out why you would rather be in a dead relationship than single. Do I have to? LMFAU? Nah bro, you get to. Unfortunately, it sounds like you have mismatched libidos and interests. I am in a very similar situation to yours. Having someone that wants to work together to make sex enjoyable for all is key. It sounds like you would like to explore and expand, and he isn't into that. Both of your feelings are valid. But you can't make someone want the same things as you. I'd bring it up in counseling and see if there is a gray area you can find. Otherwise, someone won't be getting their needs met and in the end be unhappy. It's going to be a long marriage if this is the case. You have no kids. Both of you should look for people that best suit your needs. I just don't understand committing your life to someone who doesn't care about your pleasure or wants. The whining about having to do something during sex is enough for me to say, why are you staying? He has checked out, and it's time to seek divorce. Life is too short for bad sex with disinterested partners. Girl, it's not just your sex life he's been checked out of the marriage for a long time and you just refuse to see it and accept it. This is a really depressing way to go through life. I was with someone like this for 10 years, and I can tell you with almost 100% certainty that they will not change. Y'all aren't compatible sexually, and it sounds like you're not compatible emotionally either, seeing as he brushes off your feelings instead of validating them. I am now with a partner who matches me sexually, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I didn't think people like him existed because I was so used to how toxic my ex was and figured all men were like that. You deserve better, and once you're able to open yourself up to it, you will find it. Fuck this jabroni. Do not have kids with this man. He is an anchor tying you down and preventing happiness. Rip off the proverbial band-aid and allow yourself to experience love with someone who doesn't view you as an annoying chore. Good luck.